Unfortunately, harassment typically does occur frequently in the workplace and is considered a form of workplace violence. It is important for employers to address harassment to mitigate risk and reduce workforce stress, burnout, and avoidable turnover. The information in this presentation is not intended as legal or consulting advice. So, what exactly is harassment at work? Well, harassment is any unwanted and unwelcome conduct based on someone's sex, race, national origin, religion, disability, or genetic information. According to the United States Equal Employment Opportunity Commission, or EEOC, it is a form of employment discrimination that violates Title VII of the Civil Rights Act of 1964, the Age Discrimination Employment Act of 1967, and the Americans with Disability Act of 1990. Harassment becomes unlawful where 1. Enduring the offensive conduct becomes a condition of continued employment, or 2. The conduct is severe or pervasive enough to create a work environment that a reasonable person would consider intimidating, hostile, or abusive. Petty slights, annoyances, and isolated incidents will not rise to the level of legality. To be unlawful, the conduct must create a work environment that would be intimidating, hostile, or offensive to reasonable people. What type of behavior falls under the definition of harassment? Well, there's a broad range of behavior that could fall into the category of being considered offensive, hostile, or intimidating. It includes offensive jokes, slurs, insults, threats, offensive images or objects, interfering with someone's work performance, or physical assault. Harassment isn't just horrible, it's illegal. Bringing someone to the point where the work environment is hostile and offensive is simply against the law. It is our job as human resource managers to detect, investigate, and educate, even if it is an uncomfortable topic to discuss. Awareness about harassment is important for everyone, employee and employer alike, not only to safeguard a comfortable workplace environment, but also because bad behavior can become a legal issue. So communicate to supervisors and management that it is unlawful for them to retaliate against an employee who files a complaint. Employees must feel free from discrimination and have the ability to assert their rights. Sexual harassment is difficult to talk about, but it is one type of unacceptable behavior that warrants discussion. A hand on the shoulder or knee or other touching can be seen as an unwanted sexual advance, even if the intention wasn't there. It is what the person receiving the advance believes was the intention. Remarks, even made in jest, suggesting a sexual favor is always inappropriate, especially when the perpetrator is an individual in power, authority, or in some way can affect the person's employment. All remarks about someone's sex should be seen as offensive. However, management must set the bar and lead by example. How often does your organization hold training sessions with C-suite executives, contractors, or board of directors and management on this issue? While sexual harassment is typically directed at women, it is important to remember that anyone, regardless of their sex, could potentially commit or be a victim of sexual harassment. And in this digital age, it doesn't have to be in person. Emails, texting, and other electronic communications can cause someone on your workforce to be uncomfortable or even harassed. A harasser might also work at any level of an organization and could be the victim's supervisor, a physician, a nurse practitioner, physician assistant, nurse, coworker, or subordinate. A harasser might even be someone who is not an employee of the organization at all. It could be a patient, visitor, guest, or a contractor present to perform a task. The key issue is that the harassment occurs in the victim's workplace and is severe enough to create a hostile work environment. When it comes to legality, employers are responsible for harassment in the workplace. Employers are automatically held liable for harassment perpetrated by supervisors at the organization unless they can prove that they tried to prevent and correct the harassing behavior and that the victim unreasonably did not take advantage of opportunities that the employer provided to correct the harassment. For harassment committed by regular employees or non-employees, employers are also held accountable if the employer knew about the harassment and did nothing to address it. Thank you for joining us for part 1 of a 2-part series. We ask and advise that you watch part 2, where we provide resources and support to practices and medical organizations seeking more information on various compliance topics.